What is up, all of my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back to Late Night Frights. I'm the Late Night Frights horror leader, the J. Sloan or Jordan, back here to do another video for you. And as always, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. Last week we did horror battles, and if you haven't checked that out yet, please go do so. It was a great week overall. So this week we are doing a theme, and the theme we chose to do for you is one that we have never done here on Late Night Frights before, and we are doing our Universal Monsters theme. Now, there's so many great films to choose from for everyone to review this week. And me personally, I went with my personal favorite Universal Monsters film, and that is Frankenstein. Okay, so Frankenstein was made in 1931. This one is directed by James Whale, and it's pretty much the story of a crazy, obsessed, mad scientist played by Colin Clive, who plays Henry Frankenstein. Now, Henry Frankenstein is a brilliant mind, just a brilliant person who used to work at this university and just, pretty much seems to be in the film like he had a bright future ahead of him, or still has a bright future ahead of him. Some things happen, some complications lead you to find out that Henry actually left the university job for a reason to pretty much bring this to kind of tamper and experiment with life and death. And, try to bring the dead back to life while he makes this body, he steals a brain, and he tries to reanimate this person and, creating his personal little Frankenstein, his child, his monster of birth. And we see that, he is, like I said, he's a very intelligent person, and he's very committed to this idea, and everyone around him thinks he's crazy. The only one who doesn't think he's crazy is his assistant, played by Dwight Fry. And, we see he has a fiance, and I forgot the girl who played her. I forgot her name. I do apologize for that. It's May something. I just forgot her name. We see that she is actually really worried about him, doesn't know where he's at, why he's been spending his time away from her, and she doesn't know anything about his experiments, so she doesn't really know what's going on. We also see her, I guess you could say her friend, maybe both of their friend. I think he's played by, I forgot the guy's name. They were lesser important characters, although they did have parts to play within the story. But you see that that Henry Frankenstein, like I said, once again played by Colin Clive, played very brilliantly, I might add. I really loved his acting in this, and it being a film from 1931, admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of the 1931 era, the 1930s era with the Universal monster films, but this one I really do love and really do enjoy. So we see that Henry Frankenstein makes this creation and proves everyone wrong, seeing that he is, in fact, pretty much a genius. He is, in fact, he can bring the living back, or bring the dead back to the living, pretty much, and make the dead live. So we see that he can do this, but upon seeing that his creation actually came to life and it actually worked, the monster, which is Frankenstein, played brilliantly, or just the monster, whatever you want to call it, played brilliantly by Boris Karloff, who just, the way he, acted in this film is great, having no dialogue, which I'll get to that in a second. We see that he throws these fits of rage, and that's due to the brain that was given to this monster. Has these fits of rage where he actually hurts people, and it just goes out of control from there to the point where, Henry Frankenstein decides he has to put down this monster that he's created, and everything just gets crazy and goes out of control from there. So the acting, really good acting. Like I said, Colin Clive did a really good job playing Henry Frankenstein. The girl who played his fiance did a good job. I just can't think of her name right now, her actual name, and I do apologize for that. And then we have Dwight Fry, who played the creepy assistant. He didn't have too much screen time, but what he did, a good job. And you gotta look at it, it was a film made in 1931, so that was quite some time ago. Here we are in 2015. But Frankenstein is a Universal Monsters. I'm getting tongue-tied, guys. I'm sorry. Can't speak tonight. Frankenstein is a Universal Monsters film that has lived on, much like a lot of them are, like Dracula, the Wolfman, the Mummy, films like that that have lived on from this age. And a lot of people are in love with that time era of horror, but me personally, it's not my favorite. Mine is 70s and 80s. But I do like a select few films from that time era, and this is definitely one of them. Boris Karloff's acting as Frankenstein, like I said, no dialogue, but the thing that was intriguing to me and the thing that impressed me the most was his body movements, the body language in which he gave to the character, and really made you feel at times scared by this character, but also very sympathetic towards this character. There's a specific scene within this film where he sees this little girl, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but I will tell you a little bit about this scene. He actually starts to play with this little girl. They throw these flowers into the lake, and it gives you a good idea that this could be a good, monster. This could be just very sympathetic, and it makes you feel sorry for his character, and that he's not just evil. He's not all he's conceived to be. But he ends up throwing the little girl into the lake, not knowing what he's done, and that pretty much screws that whole idea up. But for me, I still saw that as being very sympathetic towards this character, and just has a very sad look and painful and hurt look on his face throughout the entire film, and he works that perfectly without any dialogue, just his body language and the body movement in which Boris Karloff actually presented and gave to the role as the monster. Good direction. It had a really nice eerie feel to it, and that's what I like about this film. Casting was good, acting was good, story was really good, also obviously based off of a novel, and yeah, just my personal favorite Universal Monsters film. Definitely my personal favorite from around that time era. I know a lot of people are going to go with Dracula, The Wolfman, which are two films that I also enjoy. There's good and bad from that time era of horror, much like there is with 70s, 80s, 90s, and there's so many in the 2000s. But I love Frankenstein, always have. Thought it was think it is a great horror film. Still stands up to this day for me. It's definitely not going to hold up to some people, but I love it. Thought it was great. Great horror film. Not anything else to say about it other than you need to watch it if you haven't. So there you go. There's my review over Frankenstein, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, Chris Brock will be reviewing a Universal Monsters film of his choice, and that will continue throughout the week with all of our members. I'm the Jay Sloan. You just watched Late Night Frights. Comment, subscribe, and as always, guys, keep it horror. Peace.